So Derek Carr, I like him more than everybody else. But if you take out his rookie year and look at his career numbers, you're going to get 4,000 yards and a passer rating of 96, 97. He's rarely had a good offensive line. I don't know. You tell me what's he's only 31 years old. He's got 35,000 yards. I think he's pretty capable. I think he could go to the Jets and make him better, or the Commanders. What's the tape say on Derek Carr right now?
Yeah, and obviously this is something I've been, watching carefully all week. Made it a point to watch Carr this past week because this was the game that obviously dictated that he would be benched. I think if you really study him carefully, and it's easy to say, oh, he's better than Jarrett Stidham, and I'm sure he is. But from a coaching perspective, you have to think about it this way. He's very quick at times to abandon intermediate route concepts and check the ball down. He's often not very patient in the pocket as he needs to be, with the result that he leaves throws on the field that are there based on route concept versus coverage. And nothing drives coaches crazy more than throws being left on the field. And that was very evident. Now, the other thing that was a factor this week and has been a factor at times throughout his career is his ball placement. Colin tends to be erratic. His interceptions resulted from poor ball placement. And that's something, again, that really drives coaches crazy. So I came away from that game, and I knew he was benched before I watched the tape, but I could understand why after watching the tape, because it's a continuation of problems. Now, you get into the conversation as to whether he gives you a better chance to win than Jarrett Stidham, and the answer is probably yes. Maybe not even probably, but I think from a coaching standpoint, there's just a lot of things that are building up that would really bother a coach.
Yeah. Well, he has another new coach, so I will say this in Carr's defense. He's got a new coach every couple of years, so who knows? Okay, they play the Niners. You look at the tape, the film. Does it confirm?
Yeah.
Does it confirm how good this team is on both sides?
Well, I think that defensively they are really, really good. I would argue that their front six, when they're in nickel and they're a nickel sub defense, they rarely play dime, that their front six is as good as any in the league. You can easily make the argument based on film study that Warner and Greenlaw are the best nickel linebacking duo in the league. I think Fred Warner is the best individual linebacker in the league. And they can rush the quarterback with four. They're not a heavy blitz team, but when they do, they're very effective doing it from multiple front alignments. Their secondary has gotten better as the year has progressed. Over the last number of weeks, they've made Charvarius Ward kind of a matchup corner. He matched up to Metcalf 2 weeks ago when they played Seattle. He matched up to McLaurin this past week when they played the Commanders. So they've decided based on how he's playing that he can match up to the higher level receivers in this league. And that always allows you to do more on your back end. So this team is really, really good on defense. We know what they are on offense. Shanahan is always really good with concepts. I mean, basic stuff that they get to in so many different ways, Colin. The 71-yard touchdown by McLeod was basically outside zone off orbit motion. It's just a base run that they then use McLeod instead of a back. And Kyle Shanahan is really good at those kinds of things.
So Mac Jones now being criticized. We do have 3 or 4 pieces of actual video evidence of him being the Grayson Allen, that's an NBA player of the NFL, where he's a little cheap. Let's talk his quarterback play now. He's regressed badly. I thought he had a very good rookie year. They play. They can be a spoiler here and beat Miami. What does the tape say on Mac Jones this year?
Yeah, I think one of the things that really stands out, and I would have a tough time saying that this is a function of coaching, Colin. I mean, obviously, it's easy to rip Matt Patricia, Bill Belichick for the fact that they don't have a quote-unquote true offensive mind / coordinator. But he is missing basic reads. That's what the film tells you. And when you miss basic reads, it's hard for me to think that's a function of a coach. And I don't know the answer to why he's missing those reads, Colin, but he's missing them. And then every once in a while, he'll really look good. For Jones to play at a high level, it's very simple for him because he's not an imposing physical guy and he does not have a big arm. So what does he have to do snap after snap? He has to throw the ball to the right receiver at the right time with the right kind of throw. That's reducing quarterbacking to its simplest terms. That's the way he has to play. And he's doing that very sporadically this year.
Yeah. I want to talk. I like the Jets this weekend at Seattle, and there's a stat that when the last couple years, any quarterback but Zach Wilson that has played and started for this team has averaged over 300 yards. Mike is a big kid. He certainly has a physical presence. And I said this probably a month and a half ago. I watched them play, and I went, wait a minute. He's the better quarterback here at this current time in his career. Confident. I still get great skill players, Gesicki, Jalen Waddle, Tyreek Hill, quality backs, a more clever offensive coach, and you get Matt Patricia. I'm going to take Miami and the points to win 27-23 Dolphins.
Jets at Seahawks.
I'm going to swallow the half point to 1.5 points. I'm going to take the Jets here, who have been a good road team, 4-3. Why are they a good road team? Because defense travels. So they're a very good road team, held opponents to 20 points or fewer 3 straight games. Now, they're not winning enough in those games, but since week 4, they have been dominant, arguably the best defense in the entire league since week 4. And quarterbacks not named Zach Wilson over the last 2 years. Jets quarterbacks not named Zach Wilson. When they've started, they've thrown for over 300 yards. The offense is competent. Zach Wilson's not. Mike White's going to play. The Seahawks are the only team in the league that has at least 1 turnover in every game, and their rushing offense has disappeared. The Jets win an ugly one. They pressure Geno Smith, create a turnover or 3. Jets 24, Seattle 20.
49ers and Raiders.
I hate taking big favorites, but I'm going to take the Niners minus 9.5. This thing, I don't even know how the Raiders score. I own it. Jarrett Stidham's career completion percentage is 52. The Niners defense is the best by a mile. They're 11-0 when they win or tie the turnover battle, and you know the Raiders are going to have some turnovers. Since week 8, the Niners are just unbelievable in point differential, turnover differential, and their offense has scored 30-plus points 3 times in the last month. The Raiders have lost 5 times this year when leading at halftime. So even when they were leading and playing well and had a good game plan, they're capable of losing because they can't stop anybody. Jarrett Stidham in preseason games completed 62% against scout team guys. I think he's going to have a rough afternoon. I'm going to take the Niners, swallow the points, 28-17.
Vikings at Packers.
It's a division game. It's too close. I'm just going to take the points. I wish I got the hook at 3.5. I'm going to take Minnesota plus 3. Bottom line is they're 11-0 in 1-score games, and this is going to be a 1-score game. That's my view on it. Kirk Cousins is averaging almost 400 yards throwing in the last month. Green Bay, remember, had to overcome a 10-point deficit to beat Miami. We now learn that Tua had a concussion. They remain awful on third down, 2 of 14 against the Dolphins on third down. And their wins have come against the Bears, the Rams, and Dolphins when Tua in the second half had a concussion. I think Minnesota's the more balanced team. They blew them out the first time. I don't know if Christian Watson's going to play. I'm going to take the Vikings here, 27-24. I'm going to take the points.
Bills at Bengals.
Bengals at home getting points, a team that doesn't turn it over as much, that's getting great offensive line play. I'm going to take Cincinnati here. They're on a heater, 9 of 10. At home, best offense in the league. 5 takeaways in the last 2 games. Joe Burrow's been on fire since week 3. And this Bills team, prone to turnovers. They've got 24. Only the Colts have more. And Josh Allen's had 5 games with multiple interceptions. So you're going to have to score some points because Cincinnati always does at home. I get the better situational quarterback, home field advantage. I get points, the better offensive line, and a turnover-prone Buffalo Bills team. The wise guys, I think, like Buffalo. I'm going to take Cincinnati to win a really, really fun game, 28-27. Go either way, but I like the team that is less prone to make a big mistake. Buffalo's Tyson. They'll knock you out, but if they miss, they leave themselves vulnerable. 3 dogs, the Dolphins, the Vikings, and the Bengals. Those are good dogs, by the way. Those offenses can move it.
4 road teams, huh?
Yeah, they're better teams. Yeah. You think I'm crazy? You're looking at me with a lot of cynicism.
Just Vikings-Packers, I'm a little skeptical. I don't know what to make of that game. Are the Vikings good?
Well, they've won. They're 11-0.
I'm aware of that. Is that luck or good?
It's hard to go 11-0 on luck in the NFL.
Never happened before in one-score
Well,
games.
there's some good fortune, clearly.
Certainly. Aaron Rodgers, baby.
I know where you're going. Greg Cosell, 43.